What's good, y'all? Welcome to an episode of Buzz Boys. Today, we got another draft grade video, the third video in a 4-episode series. Today we're going to be talking about James Nnaji, getting to know him. He's an international player from Barcelona. I know plenty of people might not know who he was. Even me, I didn't know who he was. Seen his name floating around in a few mock drafts, but other than that, I had no clue who he was. But the Hornets did get good value for him. He was somebody who was on Jay Billis's best available board when we picked. That's something that I was watching all night as we picked, where are these guys looked at in the league? Like, what do other people think about him? So we got good value. He was one of the few centers that even got drafted and one of the few centers that was in any mock drafts, best available, all of that. Now, I will say this, he is pretty raw. He's only been playing basketball for 7 years. So, yeah, he's 18 years old. He started when he was like 12, 13. Oh, yeah, like 12. So, yeah, he's only been playing basketball really 6 years, but he's going to turn 19 in August. So, literally in a few months. So, basically 7 years. So, there's that. He's still learning the game. He's not somebody who's been playing it their entire life. But, 12 ain't too young. At the end of the day, he does have the physical intangibles. That is why he was selected in this draft. 7 feet tall, 7'7" wingspan, 250 pounds, and still could be growing. And, he's pure muscle. And the thing about it is, like, when you look at his measurements and stuff from just a few months ago, he's grown. So, he's a growing boy right now. So if he can get any bigger, his wingspan get any longer, he's already just physically imposing, but it's going to make him that much better. His comps, like somebody that he could be eventually, somebody like Clint Capella, Mitchell Robinson. Also, I'm going to try to keep this video short because my last 2 draft grade videos went longer than I wanted, so I'm going to try to knock this shit out. But I'm just going to dive right into it. His main thing right now, the main thing that he brings to the table, his main pros is as a rim protector. He's good in all different scenarios. Blocking the ball is very natural to him. He has crazy bounce. Like, he's just a fucking freak athlete, pure muscle. Can jump out the gym, and that's why somebody like a Clint Capella, Mitchell Robinson is comparison, because he's somebody who can just get you blocks, dunks. He's somebody who's very hungry on the boards, offensively, defensively. He really is a good offensive rebounder. He snags them, he goes after them. He does have a high motor out there on the court. He'll grab some boards for you. Defensively, same thing. He crashes the glass hard. He does care about rebounding. And like I said, on the offensive rebounds, he can get a lot of putback dunks, all of that stuff. He's already pretty good at, if he can't get the ball, tapping it back out to the perimeter for the guards to get, which is something that's pretty big right now in the NBA. That's a skill that you need to have. If you can't get it into the hands of your teammates. So, he has a good grasp on the game as far as what needs to be done. Now, I'm not going to get to his conscious yet, but sometimes his body, his mind can move faster than his body. So, but at least he's processing the game up here. He knows what he wants to do to make the right play, which is good, which can always be built upon. And defensively, man, he's somebody who can move his feet. He defends pick and rolls very well. He knows when to drop. He knows when to move his feet. He can read what the offense is trying to do, which is like I said, he's not a low IQ player to the point where he just doesn't know what's going on. It's just he's a raw center, and some of his flaws are pretty common amongst other centers. But yeah, he has that. He's a good team defender. So it's somebody who, in the modern NBA, he's somebody who can move his feet. He can switch, and I'm pretty interested to see him play in summer league. Now, he is in Barcelona. Um, Apparently his contract does not end until 2027, but it is a very cheap buyout. We haven't heard the exact number, but they did mention that in the draft. His buyout number is cheap, so chances are the Hornets will just buy him out and bring him over. But we might wait a year to do so. I'm interested to see how he performs in summer league. If he has a great summer league, chances are he'll be in Greensboro this year. He is already in Charlotte. He was in Charlotte a few days ago, so he is here. I do expect him to play summer league, because why else would he already be in Charlotte if he wasn't going to play summer league? So yeah, I definitely hope he does play, just so we can see him and we can get familiar with who he is and what he can bring to the table. At the end of the day, Euro League and the NBA is just different. It's different paces. It is a different game. It's still basketball, but it is different. So seeing him in summer league, as of now, him and Kai Jones will probably be the only centers on the roster. So interested to see him. Yeah, I'm interested to see him. But anyway, let me get back on track here. Like, his main attribute, man. I'm sorry, my little paper is wrong. His main attribute is just his percentage around the rim, 79% around the rim. And that's something that's very promising, considering that he is 18. He is relatively new to the game of basketball, and he's out there playing against grown men. When you're shooting 80% at the rim, that's, like I said, he's physically imposing. He can impose his will out there on the court. It's just a matter of him, getting the reps. Currently, he is only playing 8 minutes a game. So, there's that. But his per 36 numbers are very good. As far as, the projections of what he can be. Even currently, 39 blocks in 284 minutes this year. That's 1 block every 7 minutes. So you just got to put that in perspective. If he plays 20 minutes, that's 3 blocks. So his per 36 numbers is something that you're looking at, where it's like, okay, even though this is a small sample size, what can this kid become? In the NBA, it's about upside. What can you become? These guys are 18 years old. You're not drafting them for who they are in that moment. You're drafting them for who they can become. And he's somebody who has physical tools to become a capable, good NBA player, just off his raw intangibles. But also, he does have a little bit of a post game. It's not a crazy deep bag, but he can do a little something, just a little something, enough to catch clean and, drop step into his dunks and stuff like that. Very simple actions. He doesn't have crazy footwork. That's something that I'll talk about in the cons. But he does possess enough to build upon and show promise, which is really what you're drafting for. And on top of that, he's a crazy lob threat. He can dunk everything. His catch radius is crazy because he has a 7'7" wingspan. Just throw it in the area, he will dunk it. He will dunk on anybody. He is just that type of freak. So I'm very interested to see how our guards do in Summer League. Nick Smith, Amari Bailey, James Bouknight. Can they get the ball to Kai Jones and James Nnaji for these lobs that are going to be there? Because they will be there. And then on top of that, like I said, he does have a little bit of a bag, a little bag. He does know how to use the pump fake and utilize it. So he does show flashes of what to grow upon, but he's still 18 years old, only playing 8 minutes a game. He's averaging 3.5 points. So I guess you could round up, say 4 points, 2.3 rebounds, and a half a block in 8.7 minutes. So I guess you could say 9 minutes. So 4 points, 2 rebounds, half a block in 9 minutes. Isn't crazy. It doesn't jump off the page, but it's 8 to 9 minutes. You're only going to get so much production out of an 18-year-old kid in the Euro League anyway. So there's that, but there is the upside where with more time out there, he can produce. And like I said, wouldn't be surprised if we leave him over there for maybe just 1 year to let him progress a little bit more, and then we buy out his contract and bring him over. I don't know. We'll see how it works, because like I said, he's already in Charlotte, so we have no clue what this organization's plan with him is. They probably do want to see him play in Summer League first before making that decision. I wouldn't be surprised. But anyways, moving on to the cons. I'm going to try to keep this video under 15 minutes for real. So moving on to the cons. He's not good at the hook shot with both hands. He lacks the touch with both hands. That's the thing where, he shows how raw he is, because, some centers, there might be raw prospect, but like they have some type of go-to move that they can get off. No, Nnaji does not have that currently. Both hands he struggles with touch in the post. Yeah, it's both. And on top of that, he does travel. He does get hit with travel calls, all with just being a raw player. He struggles to put the ball on the floor. That's where his biggest red flag and flaw is right now, is just having to put the ball on the floor. In the NBA, you're not always going to be able to just dunk on somebody. It just is what it is. So he's somebody, like Kai Jones in a way, to where they're raw. They're freak athletes and they show promise, but they have to get the game together, get the intangibles together that will allow them to get actual NBA minutes that they can build upon. Because it doesn't matter how much of an athlete you are in the NBA, you're not going to be dunking every play. It just is what it is. Everybody out there is athletic. Everybody out there is tall. Everybody out there has a long wingspan that can keep you in check. So, you're not just going to be able to make it in the NBA off of being able to dunk as a raw prospect. It just doesn't work like that. I can't read. My handwriting is so bad. But anyway, I'm sorry. I apologize. But another thing, if he gets double teamed at all, if he sees more than anybody in front of him, it's a turnover. If he sees bodies, it's a turnover. Something that I talked about in the same light with Brandon Miller. A lot of these young players, once they get blitzed, once the pressure is on them, that's when their turnovers are mainly forced. It just comes with being a young basketball player. You can kind of become deer in the headlights sometimes when you just got two people running at you. Like, it just is what it is. Something that can be worked on, but it is a problem. Turning over, fouling, offensively, defensively. Defensively, his fouls come from trying to contest, which is good, but at the same time, it's bad because he struggles going straight up. In the NBA, you get caught like that, that's a foul. You have to go straight up. And even then, sometimes, if it just looks a little weird, that's a foul. So he's somebody who, I wouldn't be opposed to him staying over there for 1 more year if he's going to get the minutes. Now, if he's still going to be playing fucking 7, 8, 9 minutes, we might as well send him to Greensboro and let him get the reps there. It just depends on how much he is going to play in Barcelona. I wouldn't mind leaving him over there for an extra year for him to develop. But if he's not going to play a lot of minutes, we can just send him to fucking Greensboro as far as I'm concerned. But, yeah, fouls, staying vertical, contesting shots, blocking shots without fouling, that is something for him that he does need to work on, as well as when he is guarding smaller players, which, he can switch, he can move, which is good, but he kind of likes to hip check when playing smaller guards, and it's something that we see NBA players do. They're hip checking because they're hunting that block. That's the thing when you get a matchup with a smaller guard and a center. Well, the guard wants to beat them off the dribble, and the center wants to get the block. So, that's where you see centers try to hip check, and he gets caught with that a lot. But Anyways, I'm approaching 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the grade. Personally, I was thinking about a B+, but the more that I think about it, I think I'm just going to give it a B. One, just because he is a raw prospect, but the physical intangibles cannot be denied. 7 foot, 250, 7'7" wingspan. I think that might be one of the longest wingspans in the draft, probably behind Wemby. Yeah, man, he's very physically imposing. So that's something to where, you know, at the end of the day, I don't need you to dribble. You don't see Clint Capella out there dribbling. He sets screens and he dunks the fucking ball and he blocks it and he gets rebounds. That's what I need him to do. So, you know, the dribbling stuff, those type of red flags, I mean, it doesn't scare me too badly because most centers aren't good at that shit anyway. Oh, another thing, a pro that I do want to talk about, he is a good free throw shooter. So that's something to where a lot of centers aren't good. There's a shot from one of his games where he's like 4 for 5 from the field and has a decent little stat line, and it just goes to show, you know, what he can be. I think it was 10 points and 5 rebounds or something like that, but he was 4 for 5 from the free throw line, and that right there is what you're looking at. You know, the upside of this player. What does he do well? And somebody who like that, who, you know, I'm gonna keep saying it because it's crazy. He's 7 foot, 250, 7'7" wingspan. He's gonna get fouled and go to the free throw line. And if he can make those at an 80% clip, now at the end of the day, I don't know how consistent that is. I tried to find his free throw line numbers. I couldn't. I tried, but you know, if anybody can find them, comment them down below because I am curious to see what he shot from the free throw line on this season. I couldn't find that, but that right there shows promise that he can knock down free throws when he does get fouled, which he will because he's fucking huge. Anyway, like I said, I give it a B just because he could possibly be a drafting stash, and he's raw. So I would say that just because he's not coming over immediately, but the value, the upside that we got in him, I am happy with. The only thing, I just wish that we didn't trade. We moved up from 34 to 31 to select him, and we gave up 39. And this draft was a deep class. You had some good players even going undrafted. I feel like he would have been there at 34. I don't feel like we had to trade up just 3 spots and give away our 39th pick. You know, now I was expecting the Hornets to trade anyway. We had 5 draft picks going into the night. We're already a young team. I didn't expect the Hornets to use all 5 picks. I talked about that. I tweeted about that. And also follow me on Twitter at BuzzBoys919 because I've seen people in the comments asking about my Twitter. So BuzzBoys919. At the end of my videos, I will be starting to include it right here. So go drop a follow. Come up there and vibe, talk about ball, whatever. Don't care. But yeah. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up because I am now approaching 20 minutes. So I'll catch y'all on the next one. Keep your eyes out for the Amari Bailey video, the last video in this draft grade series. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.